fire. Thank you so much for being a patriot. And that's what we need. We need some patriots, right? Are we patriots?
Yeah!
I don't know. Some places I go, I gotta wonder. See, I was waving a flag one day in Coopville, Washington. Anybody been to Coopville? I'm waving a flag. Pretty sad thing happened. Me and an American flag got flipped off and cussed out, and he threw a coconut water at me. Come on, if you're gonna throw something I want to drink, right? So anyway, hey, shout outs are shout outs. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. First thing we need to talk about is taking over this state. Because I fear if we don't take over this state, we're gonna have some big problems in the future. Not that we don't have any right now, right? See, I've been in the military most of my life. I haven't been a big speaker. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I spent 3.5 years boots on the ground in Afghanistan recently. And I'm here to tell you, we don't want to live that way. Our forefathers and our military members sacrificed for us to have what we have here today. This freedom to get out here and talk. This freedom to speak our minds. This freedom to assemble peacefully, not like those idiots in Seattle. If we were in Seattle, guess what would happen to the idiots? Right? They would not stand up. They would not stand up. I was in Everett at a rally one day. There was about 800 to 1,000 of us there for a Back the Blue deal. It was awesome. Thank you, Debbie and Anita from Snohomish County. So here we are, right? At the end, everybody's gone. There's about a dozen of us left over cleaning up. And that's when the Black Lives Matter people decided to come across the street. They didn't come over when there was 800 of us, right? So we need to stand up. We need to stand our ground. So here we are, conservatives all. Conservatives all, right? For 35 years now in Washington State, we have been the majority. We have. Believe it or not, we have. We've just been quiet about it, right? But I say, stand up. Stand up, everybody. Let's Washington State. Stand up for our conservative values. Stand up for what we believe. Stand up for what our forefathers died for. Stand up for what me and this guy right here fight for on a regular basis. Right? We don't go over there because we like it. We go over there so we can be free here. That's why we do what we do. How many military people we got out there are veterans? Yeah, hoorah, right? Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you more. That's my truck over there if you can't tell, with the flags on it. And I try to drive that through the most blue areas I can find. It's heavily insured, thank you. But that's what I'm talking about. So, okay. Enough of the rabble-rousing. So my name is Tim Hazlow. I'm running for Congress in the 2nd Congressional District. That covers Snohomish, Whatcom, Skagit, Island, San Juan. It's a big district, and we need to win. Because without help, Lauren, when he wins, because he's going to win, right?
Yeah!
As a matter of fact, I said something to him before the primary. I'm driving down the street, and everywhere I look, there's a culp sign. Who's got a culp sign?
Woo!
Let me see your culp signs. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So everywhere I look, there's a culp sign. And I actually told Chris, his campaign man, I said, hey, Chris, man, if perception is reality, we don't even need an election. You guys already won, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what I saw. That's what I saw. So they need help, though. Imagine Lauren Culp going to Olympia by himself. Without us, without help from the other candidates, without help from the LDs. You guys, who was here last night? So 3 guys spoke from the LD, local LD. Bill Brook, Gilday, and Ron Mazzal. Great guys, man. We need those guys to win, right? Because they have to go and help Lauren Culp put this state back in place.
Yes.
They need to help Lauren Culp. And you know what I need to do? I need to go to D.C. and help Donald Trump put this country back in order. Because I am sick of what I see on TV. I'm sick of what I see on TV.
Woo!
And while I'm up here, you notice I got this sign here that says Beeler for Congress. He's not running against me. He's actually a pretty nice guy. He's running in the district next to us, which actually encompasses, he's right there waving his hands up and down.
So make sure you give him a shout out too, because him and we're going to go up there and we're going to institute term limits.
Yay!
We'll talk a little bit about that. So think about this. If absent Rick Larson and rubber stamp Del Benny had to come home and get a job in 4 or 6 years, or open up a business, or do something like we do, heck, I still work every day. I get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I work from 6 to 2 on the Navy base at NAS Whidbey Island, running simulators for the airplanes. And then I campaign from about 2:30 in the afternoon to about 9 o'clock at night, because I'm going to go make a difference. But let's talk about term limits. So if they had to come home and they had to get a job and they had to go represent themselves as a hardworking individual, do you think they think about the laws they pass?
Yes.
Right? Do you think they'd say, does this law make sense for business? Is this law good for the people? You know, Lawrence says it best. He says he's going to look at legislation in 3 ways. Anybody remember what those 3 ways were? What was the first one? Is it constitutional, right? We're going to look at that on the federal level. Is it good for the people? If it's not good for the people, why are we even talking about it? And that's what we get from the left. How much of that crap is good for the people? Have any of you read any of that? Oh, I would say don't read it, just oppose it. And then third of all, can we afford it? Because if we can't afford it, we can't do it. It's just that simple. Because we're already in the state of Washington now giving illegal aliens money for being unemployed. How does this work? Yeah, boo, I agree. So term limits, we need to get up there, we need to institute term limits, and then we need to push them down to the states and have term limits in the states as well. So that's one big thing, right? The other thing we can do is get rid of this political correctness. How many of you guys are politically correct? Hey, okay, everybody listen up. If you're political correct, if you are really a political correct person, yell as loud as you can. Yeah, I didn't think so. If you're not politically correct, let me hear you. When I was in Afghanistan under the Obama administration, we weren't even allowed to say radical terrorists. We weren't even allowed to say Islamic terrorists. We weren't even allowed to identify the enemy. I could give you some horror stories about rules of engagement under liberal administrations. Guys, we lost people because of political BS. Because we weren't allowed to stand up, we weren't allowed to defend ourselves until we were already shot at or shot. That's bad. You know what? Trump's not going to allow that. Trump's going to stand up. He, every day, 24/7, he fights for us. I don't know if that guy gets tired. I get tired. That guy's up all the time. So, that's what we got to do. Get term limits, get rid of political correctness. There's lots of things we can do out there. I don't know how much time I got. Am I getting the, you good? Keep going? 2 minutes, all right. So, once again, Tim Haslow for Congress. It's www.timhaslowforcongress.com. Just like Lauren, I'm going to be at all his events in the 2nd Congressional District, so you guys will see me again. Bikers for Trump up in Conway. The guy out here, Tetch Cox, running around, he's got the info about where they're meeting and riding up the highway as a big old group. There's another group in Bellingham, riding south from Bellingham. This is going to be a great big giant event. We're going to have some cool giveaways. We've got a bunch of state people coming. We got a guy coming from the Trump campaign to talk. It's going to be pretty awesome. And guess who else is talking? Mr. Loren Culp. Woo! We can't get enough of that guy. So now that the primary's over, right, the biggest thing we can do is get together as a team. That's why I brought Jeff Beeler-Stein up here. That's why I talked about those other 3 LD candidates. That's why I love Loren Culp, because we are a team. We are a team, and we're going to win as a team. And that's why I say, as conservatives, it's time for us to finally stand up, be heard, get loud, and let the world, not just Western Washington, but let the world know how we feel in Washington State. We're sick of our state going in the wrong direction. And with that, I thank you guys very much. I'm going to give it back to the band because these guys rock.
Yeah!
I really appreciate it. Maybe they'll let me sing the song. I don't know.
Thank you, Tim. Put your hands together and play again, will ya?